Hey there, listeners. Welcome to another episode of the Earth Station One podcast. We got a really cool interview for you guys tonight. We are talking to Laura Willoughby. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's awesome to have you on the show. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself? Because, we want to find out, who is Laura?
Yes, absolutely. So, I am a writer producer, and I have a little film festival out in Bedford, Virginia, which is at the foot of the Blue Ridge Mountains, which is one end of the Appalachian Mountains. And we're going into our fifth year. And we call it an international film festival because we do end up getting people from all over the world. We've been really blessed about that. But it's basically a film festival for independent filmmakers. And we appreciate things like silent films, black and white films, quirky kind of, films. And that's what I do.
Wow. So yeah, let's start. Let's go back to the beginning. How early, like when you were a child, how early were you interested in storytelling and film in particular?
So, as far back as I can remember, but that actually started because my mom, and my dad was in the Navy, so I was barely a month old when they moved from Virginia to California. And my dad was stationed in San Diego. So I was there for like the first 14 years of my life. And then my dad retired, but he continued to work for the Navy as a civilian, but he went back home to Virginia. And so I spent my high school years in Lynchburg, Virginia. But during that whole time, as a baby, my mom had put me into like local commercials and, like local little TV shows and some baby modeling stuff. So I like to tease her that, basically I didn't have a choice in it. I was just kind of like, it's the only thing I knew from the time I was old enough to remember anything. It was being on set and being out doing stuff. So yeah, so that's how it kind of got started. And I really did. I enjoy it. Even today, I enjoy it. I still have a little bit of the acting bug, so I love theater. I actually toured little parts of Europe, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Italy, as Ophelia in Shakespeare, in Hamlet. Yeah, so I just love it. So it's still with me, but now I write and produce. Which is harder and easier all at the same time.
Right. Did you, when you were acting, did you have a sort of urge to get more behind the scenes with the films and TV?
Yeah, well, to be honest, at first, no. I enjoyed, I enjoyed especially theater. I just really liked it, and I went on an audition with a friend of mine in Portland, Maine, for the original Pet Cemetery. And I went out there, and she and I were auditioning as that, and they were like, well, you're a little young. You're a little young. I was barely in my 20s. And so we, got to chatting with the casting directors. And the casting director was just kind of like, after a few minutes of talking and chatting, she was like, would you do me a favor? And I was like, yeah, sure, of course. And she's like, I'm going to give you a breakdown of, these roles. And then I want you to look at some photos. And I was like, sure, yeah, not a problem. So I did that. I read the breakdowns, and then she showed me a couple of photos, and she's like, based on this breakdown, who would you stereotypically cast? And so I went down the list and picked a few people, and she was like, wow. She's like, that's exactly who we as the casting directors picked. And so she literally offered me a job right there. So I went there auditioning, but I left working in the casting department.
Wow.
And I loved it. Yeah, I just absolutely loved it. And then I was referred on to another casting director. And so I trained under Julie Hughes on a couple of films. And I was just like, this is great. Like, nobody told me that the crew is so much fun. Like, and it was like, because when you're an actress, everything is just, you're mindful of everything. Did you eat one too many potato chips today? Or, did you, did your hair look right? Is this, that, and that? It's just like, oh, so stressful. But I found that when you're with the crew, it is a whole different story.
You can
They don't
eat as
care
many
what you
potato
look
chips as you
like.
want.
You can eat as many. You can just live at the craft service table. Nobody cares as long as you do your job. So it was just like, I think I like the crew side of life. And so it was a little bit different. And it just was not as much stress or pressure. And so, yeah, I did casting for, well, I still kind of do casting now. I cast on a lot of the films that I produced. So it's been quite a while. But yeah, I switched over to pretty crazy theory was, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Since I'm casting all these other people in projects, I think if I produce, I can cast myself and other people in projects.
Right.
I was like, yeah, that turned out to be a little too much hard work. But I found that I enjoyed I did enjoy the producing part of it. It was fun. You get to pull everything together, and you get to, just bring this eclecticness to a script that kind of brings a story to life. And it's awesome, and it's fun, and it's enjoyable. So that's where I am at the moment. That's how I got to be producing, basically. And yeah, and it started as a child, and just kind of
Go from there.
just stayed with me forever.
Yeah.
And
It's awesome. And I can't ever recall actually speaking to anybody from casting before. And so I'm really kind of just curious if we could step back for that for a minute, just to like, what do you think is a key component to being good at casting, a good casting agent?
a good just never, ever, ever have any preconceived notions about anybody who walks into the room. Those little wallflowers can be incredible actors, and the most, I guess, I don't know, extroverted person can suck as an actor. Sometimes what you find is people, it's really interesting in the casting world, because there are people that come to you and they go, oh, you got to cast this guy. I've done 15 films with them, and they're great, and they're this and they're that, and you get them in the room and they like suck. And it's like, what are you guys talking about? Oh no, I've known it. I knew his mom, and and we're doing all these things. And it's like, wow, but have you ever checked the quality of of what's happening here? And but then you can have people come in and they'll just surprise you. You are you're just kind of blown away with how you can just physically watch them transform from this person they are into this character that you want them to be. So that's one of the biggest things that I would tell, any actor, anybody, casting, is it's just, I don't know, it's do your best. It's just, you have to get rid of reality. You have to be able to really pretend And when you can do that, you're spot on. But yeah, just never have preconceived notions about anybody walking into the room, because you can be very surprised by people.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Because, yeah, I mean, usually we've talked to enough actors to know that, yeah, the other side of it, which I'm sure you're aware of because having acting experience, is going through the audition process is like the worst, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
so I would imagine being on the other side of the table, but that probably brings its own sort of pressures as well, because you have to answer to producers, directors, whatever, who probably have set things in mind as far as who they want or what they want those characters to be played by, and then you have to sort of either fill that, and then if something else new comes along, then you have to convince them that might work too, right?
Exactly. And you know what, that is really a very good point. Not to, like, just be facetious at all, but
No.
sometimes directors and producers don't know what the hell they want. They think they do. They think they know. But if you can convince them, look at this person and look at it this way, so I always tell actors, just come in and do your best and be nice, be a nice guy. I auditioned a famous actress, and she was okay. I mean, she was average. I mean, I hate to say this, but there's like a billion of every actor on the planet.
Sure,
if this
sure.
one doesn't work out, you know what I mean? There's like 100 cookie cutter versions of you. So be nice. And she auditioned, and later, her sister auditioned. Now, her sister was not as technically talented, but her sister was also just incredibly nice. Just, I mean, just polite and nice and willing to take directions and willing to, listen. And I actually ended up hiring the sister instead of the famous actress, because I was like, it's just the attitude, it's the expectation of, I'm the actress, I'll say what's going on, and while it is the actor's job to bring this character to life, you also have the added pressure of bringing it to life the way the director sees it happening. So it can be kind of tricky. But so the first advice to all actors is just come in and do your best and do your take on it, because directors and producers don't always know what they want, really. And secondly, just be nice. Like, don't be a dick about things.
That should be good advice in general,
and,
right?
And go, okay, I'll try it this way.
Yeah, that should just be
right?
good advice in general, right?
In life.
Yeah, just don't be a dick,
Right? Yeah, I'm gonna get t-shirts. I'm just gonna get t-shirts printed up. Just throw them out to people. Don't be a dick. Just be nice.
Be an actor. Don't be a dick.
Exactly.
Right.
So, Laura, talk to us about producing and some of the successes you've had with it. If people wanted to check out some of the projects you've been involved with, where should they go? What should they check out?
Yeah, so I've actually worked on, between casting and producing, I've worked on some like studio things, and then I kind of landed in independent world, and I thought this is really nice. Now, the only difference between the independent world as a producer and being, like casting or producing on a studio thing is the big M word, money. With a studio, they get the money first, and then they hire a director, and they may have a producer already attached to the project, or they'll hire, bring in a producer, bring in a director, and then they start from there, and they then they go to the talent, and then they kind of go down the line from there. Whereas when you're in the independent world, you kind of do things backwards, and I find it hysterical. So in the independent world, you constantly beg for money, And people always come to you and go, well, who's in your movie? Who's in your movie? And you go, I don't know. who can I put in my movie that will make you write a check? That's a better question. And they go, well, you got to have attachments. And so you go, okay, well, I've got a director. And they go, nah, who cares about the director? Even though the director, like if you're on a studio film, it's the director's movie. So you have to kind of do it a little backwards. So they always go, well, who are your actors? Do you have Brad Pitt? Yeah, sure. Everybody's going to get Brad Pitt on $1 million independent film. Yeah, I just called him up and he said, sure, I'd love to do your $1 million movie. And, not going to happen, not going to happen. And then independent investors will always go, well, do you have an A-lister? Well, you do understand there's like 5 A-listers on the planet.
Right.
Now, they're booked for like 5 years in advance if they choose to work at all. So yeah, sure, they're on my roster and we're going to make this movie 6 years from now. No, let's just stop. It's like, just stop. And then what they don't understand is they go, okay, well, you've got Reese Witherspoon. Okay, so let's just say through a connection of a connection, I got Reese Witherspoon. Awesome. So now this, investor extraordinaire is like, I'm going to write you a check. So we've got Reese Witherspoon. I'm going to write you a check. Awesome. Now we have to find a director. And then you get a director and they go, no, I just don't see Reese Witherspoon in this role at all. So I'm going to go get Anna Kendrick. And it's like, for fuck's sake. It's like this, it will take 5 years to make this movie, because everybody wants something, and then you'll find investors who come in and they go, okay, so I'm going to write you a check, and what's your budget again? And it's like 1 million. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 500,000 if you can find somebody else to give you 500,000. Okay. Not a problem. So if you will write me a letter saying that you will give me 500,000 if I can bring another investor, then I can use that letter to go get an investor, right? And then they go, no, you've got to bring the other 500 first. And it's like, fuck off. Come on. Like it.
Stop playing those games with you. Pretty
yeah,
much.
it's like, why don't you just say, no, thank you, I'm not interested. Yeah. Instead of kind of like having me chase my tail running around looking for somebody, but you're not going to give me a letter. You want me to bring them first. Oh, Jesus. It's just like, it's a nightmare. You get old really fast, but you get a really super thick skin. And then when you run into an investor who says, oh, who's your actor? You just go, never mind. You're not the guy for me. What you want are people who are going to say, who's your team?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you really want to talk to an educated investor, then you want to go, hey, who's your cinematographer? Who's backing up your AD and making this thing look good? And what's it going to look like? Is it a John Woo film, or is it a Sofia Coppola kind of film? Is it Scorsese? What are we looking at? Because, while it's true that moviegoers go, oh, that's my favorite actor, I'm going to go see that. They really want to see that it's a well shot film. They want to feel something when they come out of that theater. And really, that's kind of how we jumped into the film festival. Is we went, there are 1 billion independent filmmakers out here who are really, really good at what they do. They have an eye. They might not have like the finesse of a technique yet, but how do they get that? They don't know all these people. They live in Boise, Idaho. They don't live in, New York City or Los Angeles. So where do they get this skill? So we said, you know what, here's what we'll do. We'll bring these filmmakers all together via short or feature. We don't care. And for those people that we can kind of recognize have an eye, well, when they, win, or when they get an honorable mention at our festival, the first thing we do is connect you to people. So our festival is full of workshops. But our workshops are a little more practical than maybe like if you go to AFM, and those are practical. I mean, I'm not saying they're not, but I mean, I think ours are a little more practical because if you go to AFM and it's like how to finance your movie, it's like, well, you go to the head of the studio because wink wink, everybody knows the head of the studio. Or they go, hey, get your agent to set up a meeting. Yeah, wink wink again. And how did you get that agent? So you have to have a completed body of work to get an agent. So it's like, this is just so ridiculous. So we bring these people together and we do workshops. So when we say, how do you finance your film? Well, we point to Tarantino, we point to Kevin Smith, we point to Rodriguez, the Duplass brothers. We point to people who just said, I don't know, what have we got? A turtle in a dirt road. Fine. Okay. That's what we're making our movie about. And that's what you do. You kind of put it together, and it's okay if you shoot it, 2 years just on the weekends. Just get it done. Just shoot it and get it done. Submit it to festivals. Let people see you. Let people start knowing who you are. So our financing is, well, let's see how we can be creative. What have we got? What can we put together? And that's what we do. And then we do seminars. Jeremy Miller has been out every year for us. God love him. And he
Great
does
guy. We've had him on the show.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. And so with Jeremy, like he does this thing, Growing Up Hollywood. And so, we've got every mother on the planet, mine included, who go, oh, I want my kid, I want them to be, the next face of Gerber, the next, whatever, Tatum O'Neal, she, win an Oscar at 9 years old. And we have people like Jeremy Miller, and we've had other actors come out as well, but they come out and they go, yeah, so let me tell you what it's really like. Let's talk about what really happens. You've got a 9-year-old working 14-hour days, hardly sleeping. They can read because they got to read the script, but can they count? Can they do math? Is their accountant ripping them off because they can't, because they don't know what this contract says, or, so we have people come out and just kind of like, and we make connections. We make connections to distributors. Our distributors are not Universal Studios yet, but our distributors are real. And they pick up these projects and they put them out there. They get them streaming. They can get you a few theaters. They can, do some stuff. So it's not just a film that you made that's showing in your mom's basement. It is a movie. That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Have you been with the film festival 5 years since the beginning?
Yeah. We, my sons actually started it. Not that they run it, God love them, but they show up and schmooze, and they bring their friends, and they enjoy it. But yeah, my sons were just like, we should really put a festival here. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, who's going to come to a film festival in Bedford, Virginia? I need you guys to think about this. And they're like, no, really. You wouldn't believe how artisan and boutique and hipster. And I was like, yeah, I used to live there like 30 years ago. It's none of those things. And they're like, no, you haven't been here in a while. You need to come. So I did. I kind of stepped into it, and it's been awesome. Our first year, we did great. Like we were expecting, 3 people, and a dog maybe, but or a horse. That's more like it. Virginia horse farm. Yeah. But we were really surprised. We had people from all over the state. We had people that flew in from France, Canada, Ireland. We had people that flew in from all over the states, Texas, California, plenty of people from Virginia.
That's awesome.
So we were really surprised, and every year now it's just grown. It just keeps growing.
Is now the this year it starts on the 1st of July, is that correct?
Yeah, it's it starts and ends on the first.
Okay, so it's coming up pretty
Okay.
soon. Is there
It
anything
is.
regarding this year's that in particular that you want to promote and make people aware of?
Yeah, so this year we are doing kind of an 80s themed little bitty version of autograph signing, which is hysterical. A friend of mine was just like, hey, I'm going to introduce you to this guy, and he's going to, you know, help you do some stuff with the film festival this year. And I was like, cool, I'm always up for that, because we do screenings of, of the films that are submitted, and then we'll do like one film, um, you know, from something else. And they were like, well, maybe you could have this person come out or that person come out. And I was like, and do what? And they're like, no, sign like a little autograph signing, celebrity signing. And I was like, good God, I can't afford that. And they were like, no, this is how you do it. And they explained to me how, how you do it, how you give people like minimum guarantees and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, we'll try it. So it's small, but it's, we've just been, oh my goodness, flooded with people who are, I mean, tickets have just going off the charts. So we've got Claudia Wells
Awesome.
from Back to the Future. Yeah. Carl Gottlieb from Jaws. He wrote the screenplay for Jaws. Kelly Maroney from Night of the Comet. Eddie Deason from Grease and a whole bunch of other things. So it's just like I say, it's small, but and Jeremy Miller, like I said, God love him and his fiance Joni, they're like 1000% behind us every year.
Nice.
And yeah, so they're going to come out and they're going to do a couple of hours of signing, and I thought, okay, well, we'll try it, we'll see what happens. And then, like I said, our ticket sales just kept increasing and increasing. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this might be something we can actually do next year. We can bring more people, different people, more people. And so that's, and we can theme it, just celebrity signings. But yeah, so that's kind of one of the big things. Jeremy is doing a celebrity cooking show for us. We've got another lady coming out. She is an Army vet and a chef from Louisiana. So she'll be coming out to do a cooking show for us. And so this year, while I say it's really only a one-day thing, it's really more days than that. It's going to be like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then, but it's just like small events. And this is the first year that we've kind of done it that way. Yeah. And if it goes well, then next year we might be a little bigger.
Awesome. Well, Mike, I think now that we found out what she's up to, let's find out what she's passionate about. I think she's ready for the geek seat, my man.
I think she is too, but it's interesting because, she's been into casting and everything. So she might see all through this, she might just, find her way through this and everything. So let's check out and we'll see what she's up to on this one. All right, Laura, your first question in the geek seat is, what is your favorite geek out moment?
My favorite geek out moment. Boy. All right, let me think. Well, it is actually not actor related, believe it or not, although a lot of my stuff is. I geek out over being able to go to places like Griffith Park to the observatory. I am huge into astronomy, not astrology, astronomy. And
There's a difference.
There a little bit, but I geek out over being able to go and like look through those telescopes and just listen to the really cool sounds that are going on in space, and the stars and the whole thing. That's definitely what I geek out about.
That is awesome. I love going up to the Griffith Observatory. When I lived out there, I was there almost like every other week.
Oh yeah,
there's just
awesome.
so much to see and so much to do
Yeah,
there. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
And the views alone, not
Oh
of just
yeah,
the Hollywood sign, but also of LA and everything. You could even, on a clear day, you can actually see the ocean.
that's right.
That's far and few in between, though, in Los Angeles. So it's okay.
Yep. Yep.
What was your most disappointing geek out moment?
My most disappointing geek out moment. Oh my gosh, this is really, it's not a cop out, but I don't think I've had one yet.
At least we're not on that list. It's good. It's all right.
Not yet.
It's like doing this show. No, just kidding. No, I really don't think it's just I like the study of psychology and I like the study of people. And I think that when you understand people, maybe you don't get as disappointed because you just go, okay.
People are
That's
people.
just people are people. That's just how they function. It's like, okay, so how do you work around it? Um, so, and then I'm trying to think like professionally, I don't think I've ever really had any major disappointments. Personally speaking, none. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have to cop out on that one and just be like, I haven't had it yet, but I'll call you guys when I do. I'll be like, oh,
We'll be
this is a
waiting.
disappointing
Trust me.
moment.
We'll be
Let me
waiting for
call
that.
let me call these guys. Yeah, right. He'll just be sitting waiting, going, I
Mm.
wonder if she's gonna call. I'm
Mm.
just kidding.
What geeks you out the most?
I'm sorry.
What geeks you out the most?
What geeks me out the most? Um, okay, this is gonna be weird. I geek out over people just having a good time and laughing.
That's
I could
awesome.
just sit,
That is
yeah,
awesome.
like I could just sit and watch people having a good time. And I think this is so cool. Like just to have people laugh and to have people be in a position where they're just enjoying themselves, no inhibitions, no worries about, is someone watching me? Am I doing something wrong? Just enjoying themselves? And I just think that is just the sweetest thing ever to see, regardless of age. Like, I just find it so fascinating.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Let's look at the flip side of that, though.
Sure.
What turns your geek off?
Mean people. I want to punch them.
So don't
It's
get on her
just,
bad side, folks. Just remember that.
yeah, it's just like, I really, when I was younger, I just had such a problem with my own temper. It took a while to kind of achieve a sense of zen, and I'm obviously still working on it, but I have a very deep rooted anger, and I don't know where it comes from. But you know, it's one of those things where kind of yeah, just mean people in general. And by mean people, I don't mean the exaggerated version of, you know, someone who's being physically abusive to somebody else, while that is on the list. But I'm talking about little things, like when you're driving, when you go through the drive through of some place and, they get your order wrong, or they, like the speakers are always messed up and they're like, well, what was that you said? And it's like, for the 15th time, I want a Big Jack with no mayonnaise. I don't know. It's like, Jesus, fix your stupid speaker. But just being mean to people who are doing their job, it's kind of out of line. And I know we all do it. I used to do it a lot, and it wasn't aimed at anyone personally. It was just a situation, like I have 5 minutes to get through this drive through and like scarf down my food because I've got to be at the next meeting, or the next, event, or the next casting thing, or the next whatever. And your day can just be so bombarded with so much to do. And you're just thinking, oh my God, I just want, a flipping Big Mac. And I just want it without the special sauce. Is that too much in life to ask for? And then you've got this person behind the counter going, what an extra sauce? And it's like, oh my God, I have 3 minutes, get it straight. So those kinds of things, you know what I mean? Like and it's not even, I don't even think people are conscious of it. I don't think they're even thinking that they're really angry with the person behind the counter that they've never met before in their life and probably just ruined their entire day. It's just about, we kind of live in our own world, don't we? We live in a place of, I need to get my thing done. So I need you to do your thing and I need you to do it right so I can go about my thing. And then I realized that really kind of sucks as a philosophy. Like, calm it down. It's just food. Yes, I did pay for it. And if I'm going to pay for it, I should get it the way I want it. But at the end of the day, to quote a movie, monks burning themselves in protest because China is oppressing Tibet is a big deal. Me getting a pickle that I don't like on my Big Mac is not that big of a deal at the end of the day. So let's put some things into perspective and, let's just kind of create a little bit of happiness and a little bit of niceness for somebody else during their day. So let's make it about other people. It doesn't have to just be about us in our world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'll do an interview at 2:30 in the morning or 3.
And we love you for it. We really, really do.
No, I was being a pain, wasn't I? I was just like, oh my God, I was freaking out. What time is it? Oh my goodness.
No, it's all good. All good, man. All good, man. What fictional character would you like to meet the most?
Fictional?
Mm-hmm.
Fictional character would I like to meet the most? Ooh, I know. I want to meet Dracula.
That would suck. No.
It's like, ooh, I would hope so, because then I could live forever. No. Yeah, Dracula. I've been fascinated with vampires since I was a kid, and I got to watch all the reruns of Dark Shadows. And those
that scared me as a kid. That scared me.
Yeah, isn't that weird? It scared most kids, but I was fascinated by it. And my mom was just like, there is something demented about you. And I was like, yes, I've come to realize this myself. And then I moved on to like the real Dracula. I read the books. Then I read the history of Vlad the Impaler. It was just like, I have this odd obsession. There's a weird romanticized version of how they portray vampires in movies. I just think it's so cool and weird at the same time. My favorite vampire is actually not Dracula, so I'm going to change my answer now and say it's going to be Angel from Buffy. How could I have messed that up? I mean, David Boreanaz is easy to look at, so I'm going to be okay with Angel. So yeah,
Makes
that's
total
it.
sense to me. Totally makes sense. And I know quite a few of the people out there listening will be agreeing with you. So I think that's pretty awesome. That is pretty darn awesome. What fictional character would you not like to meet?
Oi.
I feel like she might say Angelus.
No, I think I would like to meet Angelus. Isn't that bizarre?
Okay.
I don't think Buffy was having too hard of a time there. I think she was all right at the end of the day. No, I'm just kidding. You know who I would not ever want to run up against, believe it or not, would be the lady from 101 Dalmatians who wanted to make a coat out of puppies.
Oh,
Cruella DeVille.
Yep.
Cruella DeVille, yeah. It's like, I wouldn't want to meet her. She's mean. She wants to wear puppies. What is that about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's somebody who just doesn't get it. Nope.
Nope. Not
Nope. What is your favorite geek word, phrase, quote, or pose?
Oh,
I told you these are interesting questions.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Especially catching you at 2:30 in the morning.
Right? It's like, go to sleep. No, I like, there's a couple of phrases that I like actually. One is, and again, this is, I first heard it on Buffy, from Xander to Angel. It's like, I'm right there with you. I just think it's just, I love that. It's like, I'm right there with you. I get it. I'm with you. So I kind of geek out over that. I probably say it way too much. Yep, I'm right there with you. um,
That's awesome.
yeah,
That is awesome.
yeah.
I like
I
that.
think it's,
What is your ideal geek occupation?
I'm sorry.
What is your ideal geek occupation?
Oh, astronomer or psychologist.
Nice. So you want to
Yeah.
get into the stars or in the people's heads. Got it.
Yeah. I want to see the stars in their heads. I want to see what they're thinking. What are they doing?
Gotcha. That's awesome. That is awesome. What geek occupation would you not want to do, though?
Ooh, I don't think that I could be, I think I would be totally turned off and not geek out about someone. This is going to sound really weird, like how interesting. I don't want to get censored, but anyway, those people who embalm bodies,
Oh,
that's
sure.
just
And
like,
mortuaries.
that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's weird.
totally. I actually dated someone who did that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. How interesting was that?
Oh, the stories she used to tell me and everything were just interesting. And it was like, wow, working with dead bodies, that kind of has kind of like a morbid feel to it. She says, do you want to come see him sometime? And it's like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Nope.
I don't think
Nope.
I
Nope.
could
Nope.
either.
Nope. That took it a step too far. And I wonder why that relationship just didn't go anywhere.
Oh, goodness.
With my luck, I'll end up meeting her in like 30, 40 years from now. Yeah.
Yeah. She's probably listening to the show right now.
She says, I'm waiting for you, Michael. I'm waiting for you.
Exactly. She's like, I know it's you. I'm listening. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Laura, are you ready for a final question, the Geek Seat? This is
Sure.
for all the
Yeah.
marbles. This makes it count for everything.
All right. Can I phone a friend if I
At
get in
at 3
trouble?
o'clock in the morning? Sure. I want to see you do that.
Right? Exactly.
All right. You ready for your
Okay.
question?
Yes.
What is your ultimate geek fantasy?
Oh, good one. Ultimate geek fantasy
Mm-hmm.
would be, wow, I really have to think about this. Because I think I've lived like some really good stuff in my life. So now I have to think of a really good fantasy, which probably includes weird things like, rainbows, unicorns, and a vampire. I don't know. Do those work? Do those go together?
Or you could always have Angel riding on a unicorn or something like
There
that.
we go. There we go. Yeah, yeah. And then I'd have to throw like Richard Gere in there somewhere because I've been a fan of his forever. So yeah, that would be my strange little fantasy.
That's pretty darn awesome. That is
Yeah.
pretty darn amazing.
To just live, to live weird. I mean, I would hope that that I guess, you know what, maybe I do have a different fantasy. I would want people to think that I were wonderfully weird. Um that they could be happy enough spending time with me, um and go away going, well, that was fun. We should do that again sometime, um as soon as possible. That's my fantasy, that people will when they leave and go away from me, that that they would be like, that was really fun. We got to do it again. So I changed my answer.
No, totally cool. That is awesome. Well, Laura, I've got some great news for you. You've made it through the Geek Seat. Congratulations. Mr. Mike Gordon, tell the young lady what she's won.
You have won a lifetime subscription to the ESO Network, a value easily worth $68.04. I'm not sure what that translates to when in Irish money over there, but
about 50 euro.
Yeah, maybe I don't know,
or maybe a glass of Guinness or something.
Right,
Laura, we really appreciate you taking the time on your traveling schedule to join us,
No
especially
worries.
late at night over there. Real quick, where can people go to find out more about the Bedford International Film Festival?
Yeah, so hop on over to bedfordfilmfest.com, and you can see the events, you can see what's happening. I think you can purchase tickets. I know tickets are on Eventbrite as well. And just pop over and see what's going on, and enjoy. Come out and watch some movies if you're close enough to be able to do that with us. That would be awesome.
Awesome. And we'll have a link for that in our show notes. And anything else you want to promote? Any other movies or projects you've got coming out you want to promote?
I do have a few things coming out there. Believe it or not, they are horror comedies, thriller comedies, because I mean, even slashers should be funny, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to like put a comedy and a horror film together, but we've done it. And we've done a thriller comedy as well that will be coming out. And I will shamelessly plug Murphy Media Distribution, Ray Murphy and Buck Kolkmeyer. They have just been awesome in working not only with my film festival, but with me directly. Some of my films they're a little quirky. They're not quite Ed Wood quirky, maybe a little Bowfinger quirky, but they, the boys over at Murphy Media are just so 100% behind us, and they're always willing to take a look at anything that we've done. And so, I just want to shout out to them and shout out to the people that help with the film festival. There's just so many awesome people who are just behind the scenes, and behind the scenes people don't always get the kudos that they should be getting, because they're the ones who make us all look so good. So I just want to shout out, and there's too many to obviously just go name by name, but and then shout out my kids. They're awesome. Most of them are in the business, but they're in the film business as well, and they work so hard. I mean, I'm just in awe of them. They're so smart, and they're just talented, and it's just like, where did they get this? They're just incredible people. So shout out to those, because they just everybody works so hard, so we're so grateful for them.
Awesome.
And you guys, thank you so much for letting us shamelessly plug. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's been great having you on. Certainly, as you develop more projects and release more projects and do more film festivals, you are welcome back anytime.
Yeah, anytime you
awesome.
come back to promote the next year's festival, the year after.
Oh, wonderful.
We'll be here, definitely.
That would be great. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you guys so much for joining us, Laura. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back in a minute to close up the show. And Laura, go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I was trying to count up on my fingers how many hours before I have to be at my seminar and my workshop. And I was just like, well, it's 3:30 now. I don't have to be there until 1. And then I'm counting backwards. So I don't have to leave until 12:30. Fine. I'll be fine. 6-7 hours sleep. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll be up and ready to go.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you guys so much.
This will go live a week from today. So
Okay. Yep. Send me the link and I'll put it out there. I'll embarrass myself. I'll put it out. we'll hashtag
we do it weekly. We've been doing this for 13 years, so we understand.
Yeah, I do listen to you guys. I know it sucks, but I kind of pick and choose, like, ooh, Jeremy, or all different people, and I'm just like,
that's okay. That's what most of our listeners do. It's okay.
So it's fun. It's fun. I like listening to you guys.
Thank you.
Definitely. It's awesome. I appreciate you being a listener too and everything. And thank you for helping us get arranged with Jeremy and everything. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, no problem. Look, I'm trying to get a few more people for you, but they just doggone it have their own minds, and then they just
silly people,
do what they want instead of what I want them to do.
It's like herding cats. What can you say?
Yes, exactly.
I used to live out there and work out in the industry, so I know it's like.
Oh, geez, Louise, yeah. But I will try again to get some of those connections, and I'll do that. I'll do that tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
after one.
after one, and after you get some sleep. But it's totally fine. We appreciate you very, very much.
Very cool, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
You too. Safe travels.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Let's wrap up the show. You ready, Mike?
Let's wrap up the show.
So that's going to wrap up another episode of the Earth Station One podcast. As our YouTube people have found out, Laura was calling us from Dublin, Ireland, and she is quite a few hours ahead of us, and it was almost 3:30 in the morning for her. Thank you, Laura, so much for being a trooper, and after a day of travel, joining us for tonight.
Absolutely.
It was awesome, and she was pretty coherent for 3:30 in the morning, so that was pretty awesome. It was awesome. So definitely check out her film festival July 1st up in Southern Virginia, and we'll have a link of it up in our show notes. So definitely check it out. Mr. Mike, we've made it through another one, my friend.
We did. And as always, it's my pleasure.
Anything you want to shout out about?
I do. We've only got about a little over a week left on this one, on the Kickstarter from our good friend, James Palmer. He's got a anthology called League of Monsters that's available on Kickstarter. It is an anthology, as I said, that is about pulpy. It's a pulpy style adventure with monsters fighting monsters, a league of monsters getting together to fight monsters, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of great talent is involved with this besides James. The award-winning Bobby Nash is actually one of the contributors, and the cover is beautiful. It is by the award-winning artist Mark Maddox, and so a lot of good friends are involved with this, and it's still, like I said, going strong through Kickstarter. This will happen because it's already met its goal. So yeah, just go, if you want to get a copy of this book, go to Kickstarter, and there will be a link to that on our show notes, as well as if you just go to Kickstarter and put in League of Monsters, it'll pull right up.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, James, I'm so happy to see how well his Kickstarter was doing. And
absolutely, man. He's done about 4 or 5 now, I think, and he's knocking it out of the park with all these projects he's doing.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, the cover that Mark designed for him, a couple of the characters actually look like Mark, which is kind of scary.
Well, yeah, that's the point. It's scary, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's, anytime we see Mark, it's like, whoa, oh, hey, dude, what's up?
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome. But my shout out real quick. A lot of people know that I'm a huge historian, and I get off watching historical TV shows, watching movies, reading books about history and everything. And our friends at Max, because it's no longer HBO Max as of, right before the recording date here. And there's an amazing show they have. It's about the Watergate break-ins, and it's called the White House Plumbers, and it's the story of Howard Hunt and G. Gordon Liddy, basically, and how they were hired by Nixon and his henchmen, or whatever, his cronies, and how they basically arranged to try to break into the Democratic National headquarters in the Watergate, and they tried 4 frippin' times. And it was an amazing series. It's only 5 parts, and HBO, or Max as they call it now, is putting it out weekly. So as of today, they've only had 3 episodes. And so probably by the time this goes live, the 4th one will be out and coming up to the end of it and everything. And the Howard Hunt is played brilliantly by Woody Harrelson. And it's a fun series. And I've actually met G. Gordon Liddy a couple times in real life. And they have captured him perfectly, literally. And he is portrayed brilliantly in the series. And it's neat because this is the area I grew up in outside of Washington, D.C. And so I knew where all these different places are that they're mentioning. And it's a lot of nostalgia for me. And, you know, I'm old enough to remember the Watergate hearings as a little kid, but I remember seeing them on TV when I went to relatives' houses. They were watching the public hearings and everything. And it was a very pivotal point in history. So definitely check it out. It's definitely a great series. It's called The White House Plumbers. So please check it out, folks, as we like to say. Thank you, as always, for joining us. We couldn't do this without you, as we always love to say. You know, we are huge fans of you guys at home. And thank you guys for being here, for listening to her do interviews like Laura tonight, or us last week talking about the Muppets, or doing other things. And we're about to hop into the heart of summer movie season. And we have a lot of reviews coming up and a lot of different TV shows and a lot of different topics. So it's going to be kind of fun, you know, hanging out with you guys. So, you know, Mike and I are prepared for it, and it's going to be some fun adventures ahead, as we like to say.
But before we do any new movies and shows, we've got a couple of oldies that we're going to celebrate anniversaries of, I believe, in the next
Our next
couple
2
weeks.
episodes. Yep.
Yeah.
Our next 2 episodes are moldy oldies, as we like to say. So, and it should be a ton of fun. So, you know what? As always, thanks for listening to the Air Station One podcast. We couldn't do this without you, like we said. And you know what? If you want to help support us, please go to our Tee-Public store, where we have the brand new ESO 700 t-shirt. And we also, of course, have, you know what? We have the Darren Noel t-shirt still up there, and people are still getting those. And you know what? Any money we make from the Darren Noel t-shirt is all going to charity. It's, you know, it's going what Darren would want. And it's hard to believe that's almost over 3 months since we've lost him already. And it's feels like we were talking to him yesterday, and it's kind of crazy with that kind of stuff. Time just flies by, and, you know, be thankful for all the loved ones and your friends you have in your life. It's pretty awesome what you do have, because it could be gone just like that. And I just did not wipe out half the universe. So do not worry about that with that snap. So it's very cool. Also, remember, if you want to listen to our show before the rest of the world, why not join the ESO Network Patreon? For as little as $1 a month, you could help support us here at Earth Station One. Check out the Earth Station One Patreon at patreon.com/ESO Network. Want to hear from you, of course. As always, please write us anytime at feedback@earthstation1.com. This is the best way for people to let us know what you guys think of the show, where we're going, what we're doing. It's always a great place for you to do it. Or leave feedback up on YouTube, up on Apple, up on, you know, Google, or wherever you could listen to the show. I know you can leave feedback, give a thumbs up, or, you know, like and subscribe, as we like to say on YouTube. It's pretty cool stuff. And that's also a great way. And we're still growing with subscribers up on YouTube. Thank you for everyone who's been hanging out on YouTube with us. It's been a fun adventure, and it's, you know, only going to get better once we get better at film editing and everything. So we'll be there. It's a good thing. Of course, thank you very much, folks. On behalf of myself, Mike Faber, of course, Mr. Mike Gordon, Laura Willoughby, who is fast asleep, I hope. We will see you here next time on Earth Station One. Peace, and we are done. Boom. Bye, guys.
You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.